I know some of you are sitting here today thinking this is the end. You've lost too much, hurt too long, struggled too hard. You've convinced yourself that this pain is the final chapter, that the weight is too heavy to carry any further. But listen to me. The pain you feel is not your end. It is your beginning. It is the doorway to something greater. It is the very thing God is using to pull you into a new season of life. Look at the caterpillar struggling in the cocoon. If it could speak, it would cry out, "This is too much. This darkness, this pressure, this struggle, it's unbearable." But what the caterpillar does not know is that the struggle is transforming it, that what feels like the end is actually the moment before it spreads its wings. And just like that caterpillar, you may feel trapped, confined, pressed on every side, but God is saying, hold on, you are being transformed. This is not your burial ground. It is your launching pad. You think diamonds come from comfort? No, they are formed under pressure. Do you think great warriors rise from ease? No, they are forged in battle. Do you think faith is built in peaceful waters? No, it is tested in the storms. And the storm you are in right now is not here to sink you, it is here to strengthen you. It is the tool God is using to prepare you for a blessing bigger than what you can see. So don't look at your pain as the end of your story. Look at it as the turning point, the moment before your wings break free, the moment before the chains fall off, the moment before your testimony is written in victory. Because when God is in the process, the pain is never wasted. It is always the beginning of something greater. Some of you are wondering why life has been so hard, why the trials seem unending, why every time you try to stand, another wave knocks you down. You've questioned if you have the strength to go on. But let me tell you something. God never allows the fire to touch you unless He intends to refine you. Gold is not pure when it is first found. It is covered in impurities mixed with things that do not belong. And so the goldsmith places it in the fire not to destroy it, but to refine it. The fire burns away everything that is not gold, leaving behind something stronger, something purer, something more valuable than before. And my friend, that is exactly what is happening to you. The pain you are feeling, the trials you are walking through, they are not there to break you, they are there to refine you. Look at the great men and women of faith. They were not shaped in ease and comfort. Moses had to walk through the wilderness. Joseph had to sit in the prison. David had to stand before the giant. Paul had to be beaten and chained. But every battle, every storm, every hardship was forming them into something greater. It was refining their faith, sharpening their purpose, strengthening their resolve. And the same God who did it for them is doing it for you. You may not see it now. You may not understand why you are walking through the fire. But when you come out, when you come out, you will not be the same. You will be stronger than before, wiser than before, more unshakable than before. Because the fire does not destroy what is valuable, it only makes it shine. And God is making you shine. He is refining you for something greater. So stand firm in the fire, because what is coming is worth it. Some of you are wondering why life has been so hard, why the path has been so rough, why every time you take a step forward, something pulls you 2 steps back, and you ask God, why? Why must I go through this? But let me tell you something. Greatness is not born in comfort, it is born in adversity. The strongest oak tree is not the one that grows in the calmest weather. It is the one that has faced the storms, the winds, the floods, and still stands tall. Look through history. Look at the men and women who changed the world. They were not the ones who had it easy. They were the ones who were tested. They were the ones who faced trials that should have broken them, but instead made them. Look at Abraham. He had to leave everything behind to step into God's promise. Look at Joseph, betrayed, abandoned, imprisoned, yet he rose to lead a nation. Look at David, hunted by a king, hiding in caves, running for his life, and yet in that hardship, God was molding him into a king. And what about Jesus? Oh, listen to me. Jesus, the Son of God, did not walk an easy path. He was rejected, despised, beaten, crucified. The world mocked him. The religious leaders scorned him. The very people he came to save turned their backs on him. But through his suffering came salvation. Through his pain came redemption. Through his sacrifice came the greatest victory the world has ever known. So why do you think your journey should be different? Why do you think greatness comes without struggle? No, my friend. If God is allowing the trials, if he is letting you walk through the valley, it is because he is preparing you for something greater. He is toughening your spirit. He is sharpening your faith. He is building within you the endurance, the resilience, the courage that you will need to step into your destiny. So don't despise the struggle. Don't curse the storm. Because what God is birthing in you through this pain is greater than you can imagine. He is not setting you up for failure. He is setting you up for victory. Hold on, keep the faith, because your trials are not a sign that you are forgotten. They are the evidence that God is preparing you for something extraordinary. I know some of you feel abandoned. You've cried out to God in the midnight hour, and the heavens seem silent. You've prayed, you've pleaded, you've begged, and yet the pain remains. You look at your life and say, where is God? Why is he allowing me to suffer? Oh, but listen to me. Just because you can't see him working doesn't mean he isn't moving. Just because you can't hear his voice doesn't mean he isn't speaking. Just because you feel alone doesn't mean he has left you. Look at the potter as he molds the clay. When he first places it on the wheel, it is formless, shapeless, without structure. And the potter begins to press it, to spin it, to shape it with his hands. Oh, and sometimes that pressure feels unbearable. Sometimes it feels like the breaking will never stop. But what you don't realize is that the hands of the potter are never off the clay. Even in the pressing, even in the shaping, the potter's hands are still there. And my friend, the hands of God have never left you. Even in your pain, even in your struggle, he is forming you. He is preparing you for something far greater than you can see right now. Think about Joseph, thrown into a pit, thrown into slavery, thrown into prison. He must have thought, God, have you forgotten me? But oh no, God had not forgotten. God was working behind the scenes. The very prison that held Joseph was the pathway to the palace. The very pain he endured was the preparation for his purpose. And the same is true for you. That broken heart, that disappointment, that season of suffering, it is not wasted. God is using it. He is moving the pieces into place. You may not see it now. You may not understand it today. But one day you will look back and realize that every tear, every trial, every hardship was leading you to the blessing he had prepared all along. So don't you dare believe the lie that God has abandoned you. Don't you dare think for a moment that he has forgotten your name. His eyes are still on you. His hands are still shaping you, and his purpose is still unfolding. The pain you feel is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. Hold on, because the God who started a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Some of you are holding on to things that were never meant to stay. You're clinging to relationships that have run their course. You're mourning doors that God himself has closed. You're grasping at old ways, old habits, old mindsets that can no longer go where God is taking you. And you wonder why the pain is so deep, why the struggle is so intense. My friends, sometimes pain is the only way God can remove what does not belong. When a gardener prunes a tree, he cuts away the dead branches. He takes the shears and trims not to harm the tree, but to make it stronger, to help it bear more fruit. And sometimes God has to prune our lives in the same way. Oh, it hurts when he cuts away the things we thought we needed. It stings when he removes the people, the opportunities, the places that we were holding on to. But listen to me, the pruning is necessary. Because if he doesn't remove what is dying, you will never grow into what he has called you to be. Look at Gideon. He started with 32,000 men ready for battle, but God said, that's too many, and he cut the army down to 10,000, and then again to just 300. Oh, it must have seemed like too much to lose. It must have felt like God was taking away his strength. But what Gideon didn't know was that God wasn't reducing him, he was refining him. He was removing the excess, the distractions, the things that were never meant to be part of the victory. And God is doing the same in your life. That disappointment, that rejection, that painful goodbye, it wasn't to destroy you, it was to remove what was never meant to stay. That door that closed, that opportunity that slipped away, it wasn't a loss, it was a divine redirection. Because when God takes something away, it is always to make room for something greater. So stop looking at what you lost and start looking at what God is making room for. Stop mourning what He removed and start rejoicing for what He's about to release. Because when God prunes, it is only to prepare you for a greater harvest. When He removes, it is only to multiply. So stand firm in the pain, because God is not taking from you, He is preparing you. And what is coming will be far greater than what was left behind. Some of you are walking through a season of suffering and you're asking, why, God, why am I facing this storm? Why this heartbreak? Why this loss? You look at your life and see only shattered dreams, only broken pieces, only unanswered prayers. But hear me today, your suffering is not in vain. Your struggle is not wasted. Every tear you have cried, every sleepless night, every battle you have fought, it all has a purpose. Look at the life of Job. Oh, Job was a man who had everything, a good life, a strong family, wealth, health, favor. But in a moment, it was all taken from him. He lost his children, he lost his home, he lost his health. He was left in the dust, scraping his wounds with broken pottery, surrounded by friends who told him to curse God and die. And Job could have given up. Oh, he could have thrown in the towel. But what he didn't know was that his suffering was not the end of the story. What he didn't realize was that God was using his pain to prove a point, to strengthen his faith, to prepare him for a greater blessing. And in the end, Job received double for his trouble. Everything he lost was restored. Everything the enemy took was given back, because God never allows suffering without a purpose. And I want you to know today, the pain you are feeling, the suffering you are enduring, it is not meaningless. God is using it to build you. He is using it to shape you, to mold you, to strengthen your faith, to remove everything in you that is not aligned with His purpose. The crushing is producing something greater in you. The breaking is leading to a breakthrough. Look at Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, the weight of the cross before Him, the agony of what was to come pressing down on His soul. He fell to His knees and prayed, Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Oh, the suffering was real. The pain was unbearable. But listen to His next words. Not my will, but yours be done. And through His suffering came the greatest victory the world has ever known. Through His pain came salvation. Through His stripes came healing. And my friend, if God could use suffering to bring about the greatest redemption, don't you think He can use your suffering to bring something beautiful out of your life? Don't you think He can turn your pain into purpose, your trials into triumph, your suffering into strength? Hold on, because your suffering is not for nothing. God is working. And when the season is over, you will look back and see He had a purpose all along. Some of you are looking at your life right now and wondering why things had to happen the way they did. Why the struggle? Why the heartache? Why the pain? You feel like you've been wandering in the wilderness, like you've been walking through fire, and you don't see a way out. But let me tell you something. What you are going through is not the end of your story. This trial, this suffering, this season of hardship, it is not meant to destroy you. It is preparing you. You are being made ready for something bigger than you can imagine. Think about David. He was just a shepherd boy when God anointed him to be king. Oh, but did he step straight onto the throne? No. He had to go through the process. He had to face rejection. He had to run for his life. He had to live in caves, hide in the wilderness, and endure years of hardship before he ever wore the crown. But all of it, every battle, every betrayal, every lonely night, was preparing him for His purpose. God wasn't punishing him. He was preparing him. And God is doing the same for you. Some of you are crying out, Lord, why this season of waiting? Why this pain? Why this suffering? But what you don't realize is that the very thing you are fighting through is shaping you for the place God is calling you to. You see, God will never put you in a position you are not ready for. He will never give you a blessing you are not prepared to carry. And so He allows the trials, He allows the hardships, He allows the struggle, not to break you, but to build you, not to destroy you, but to develop you. Look at Joseph. He had a dream of greatness. He saw himself ruling, leading, making a difference. But before he could step into the palace, he had to go through the pit. He had to go through slavery. He had to go through the prison. Oh, it must have seemed like God had forgotten him. It must have felt like the dream had died. But no, God was working in the waiting. God was preparing him through the pain. And when the time was right, Joseph stepped out of that prison and into his destiny. And I want you to hear me today. God is preparing you right now. Every tear, every struggle, every hardship is not wasted. He is shaping you, he is strengthening you, he is refining you for what is coming. And when the time is right, when the time is right, you will step into the blessing he has been preparing all along. You are not forgotten, you are not abandoned. You are in the hands of a mighty God who is making you ready for something greater. Keep the faith, because what is ahead of you is bigger than what is behind you. Some of you feel like you're running out of strength. You've been fighting, you've been pushing, you've been holding on, but you're tired. The weight is heavy. The battle seems endless. You've whispered in the quiet moments, Lord, how much longer? How much more can I take? But listen to me. Endurance is the key to your breakthrough. If you don't quit, if you don't give up, if you keep pressing forward, there is a victory waiting on the other side. Look at an athlete training for a race. He doesn't stop when his muscles ache. He doesn't quit when he's out of breath. He doesn't give up because the finish line feels far away. No, he keeps running. He pushes through the pain because he knows that endurance leads to victory. And my friend, life is no different. The pain, the hardship, the struggles, they are strengthening you. They are building endurance in you. They are preparing you for the very thing you've been praying for. Look at Paul, beaten, imprisoned, shipwrecked, abandoned, but he never quit. He said, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Oh, that's the kind of endurance God is building in you. The kind that won't break when the storms come. The kind that won't falter when life gets hard. The kind that stands firm in the fire and refuses to bow. And think about Jesus. Oh, the enemy tried to stop him. The religious leaders mocked him. The soldiers beat him. The crowds turned against him. But did he quit? Did he walk away? No, he carried that cross up Calvary. He endured the pain. He bore the suffering. He took the weight of the world's sin upon his shoulders. And because he endured, victory was won. Death was defeated. Sin was conquered. The grave was overcome. And I want you to hear me today. Your endurance is leading you to victory. The enemy wants you to give up. He wants you to throw in the towel. He wants you to believe the lie that it's too late, that you've lost, that it's over. But don't you dare believe it, because the very moment you feel like quitting is often the moment right before the breakthrough, right before the miracle, right before the blessing God has been preparing all along. So don't stop now. Don't give in. Keep standing, keep believing, keep pressing forward. Because God is using this season to strengthen you, to prepare you, to equip you for something greater. And if you endure, you will step into the promise he has for you. The pain will pass. The storm will end. And what God has prepared will be worth it all. Some of you have been through so much pain that you've started to believe it's all for nothing. You've convinced yourself that your story is just one of suffering, one of failure, one of heartbreak. But let me tell you something today. The pain you have walked through is not just for you. God never wastes a wound. He never allows suffering without a purpose. And what he has brought you through is the very testimony that will help bring someone else through. It is the very testimony that will help bring someone else through. Look at Peter. Oh, Peter knew what it was like to fail. He knew what it was like to fall, to weep bitterly, to feel like he had let God down. He denied Jesus not once, not twice, but 3 times. And yet after Jesus rose from the dead, he didn't discard Peter. He didn't turn his back on him. No, he restored him. He said, Peter, feed my sheep. And that same man who once denied Christ stood up on the day of Pentecost and preached with such power that 3,000 souls were saved. Why? Because Peter's pain became his testimony. His failure became the very thing that made him strong. His past became the fuel for his purpose, and the same is true for you. Some of you have been through addiction. Some of you have walked through divorce. Some of you have battled depression, anxiety, rejection, betrayal. You've been at the lowest of lows, and you thought it was the end. But hear me today. God is going to use your testimony to bring hope to someone else. The very thing the devil tried to use to destroy you would be the very thing God will use to set others free. Think about Paul. He was a persecutor of Christians. He was the one hunting them down, throwing them in prison, watching as they were put to death. But oh, when Jesus met him on that road to Damascus, when that light from heaven knocked him down, everything changed. And that same man who once destroyed the church became the man who built it. He became the man who wrote most of the New Testament. Because God used his past, his pain, his mistakes, and turned them into his testimony. And I want you to know today, your testimony has power. Your survival is proof of God's faithfulness. And there is someone's, oh, listen to me, there is someone waiting to hear what God has done in your life. Someone who needs to know that healing is possible, that redemption is real, that restoration is coming. So don't hide your story. Don't be ashamed of your past, because what you have been through is not just for you. It is a light for someone else still trapped in the darkness. It is a beacon of hope for someone who needs to know that if God did it for you, he can do it for them. Your pain has a purpose. Your testimony will change lives. And what the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for good. Some of you have been walking through fire, through storms, through battles that should have taken you out. You've faced disappointments that should have crushed you, betrayals that should have broken you, losses that should have left you hopeless, and yet you're still here. Oh, you may be bruised, you may be weary, you may have scars, but listen to me. You are still standing, and that is proof that God is not finished with you yet. The very fact that you are here today means the enemy did not win. The very fact that you are still breathing means that God's purpose for your life is still unfolding. Oh, the devil tried to stop you. He tried to silence you. He tried to bury you in fear and doubt and despair. But what he didn't realize is that everything he threw at you, God was using to make you stronger. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for good. Look at Joseph. His own brothers betrayed him, threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and left him for dead. He was falsely accused, thrown into prison, forgotten by the very people he helped. But when he stood before his brothers years later, standing in the position of power God had always destined for him, what did he say? He looked them in the eyes and declared, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." Oh, don't you see? The enemy thought he was destroying Joseph's life, but all along God was using every trial to position him for his purpose. And my friend, the same is true for you. Every time you were knocked down, God was lifting you up. Every time you thought it was over, he was writing a new chapter. The pain you felt was not to destroy you, it was to develop you. The enemy tried to break you, but God was using the fire to refine you, to purify you, to prepare you for something greater. Think about the cross. Oh, the enemy thought he had won when Jesus was crucified. The crowds mocked, the soldiers jeered, the disciples scattered in fear. The devil must have laughed as they laid Jesus in that tomb thinking it was the end. But listen to me, the devil should have known that when God is involved, the story is never over, because 3 days later that stone was rolled away. 3 days later the grave lost its power. 3 days later Jesus walked out in victory. And what the enemy thought was defeat was actually the greatest victory in history. And I'm here to tell you today, your story is not over. Your battle is not the end. The pain you've walked through is not in vain, because the same power that raised Jesus from the dead is alive in you. The same God who turned the cross into the greatest victory is the same God working in your life right now. So don't you dare give up. Don't you dare believe the lie that it's too late, because what the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for good. Your greatest victory is still ahead. Your testimony is still being written. And what God has in store for you is greater than anything you have left behind. Hold on, because your resurrection moment is coming. Your breakthrough is on the way. And when the time is right, you will look back and say, what the enemy meant for harm, my God turned it for good. My friend, I don't know what valley you've walked through. I don't know what battles you've had to fight, what storms you've had to endure, what nights you've cried yourself to sleep wondering if God was still there. But what I do know, what I can tell you with every fiber of my being, is that God has never left you. He has never abandoned you. Every tear you've cried, he has seen. Every hurt you've carried, he has felt. And every piece of your brokenness, he is putting back together into something more beautiful than you can imagine. The pain you felt was never the end of your story. It was only the beginning of your transformation. God has been working in your suffering, shaping you in your struggle, preparing you through every trial. And though the fire was hot, though the road was long, though the battle was hard, you are still here. And that is proof that God is not done with you yet. So stand firm, lift your head, wipe those tears from your eyes, because you are not who you used to be. The pain that tried to break you has only made you stronger. The enemy that tried to defeat you has only pushed you closer to your destiny. And the God who brought you through it all is about to open doors you never imagined, release blessings you never expected, and fulfill promises that were set in motion long before you ever took your first breath. Your transformation has already begun. Your breakthrough is already on the way, and the very thing that was meant to destroy you, God is turning it into your victory. So walk forward in faith, hold on to His promises, and get ready, because the best is yet to come.